Divorced. Beheaded. Died. Divorced. Beheaded. Survived. And tonight, we are...
Hello all theatre lovers, both out and proud and on the DL. Welcome to Broadway Breakdown, a podcast discussing the history and legacy of American theatre's most exclusive address, Broadway. This series is called The British Invasion. And it's the final episode! Woo! It is covering shows that originated in the United Kingdom and then transferred across the pond to our Great White Way, some making a giant splash, and some barely making a ripple. I am your host, Matt Koplik, the least famous and most opinionated of all the Broadway podcast hosts, and with me today is she's not Beanie Feldstein, but she is a funny girl. But you either have seen her on The Stage in the Office musical parody. You most likely know her from her absolutely brilliantly bonkersly brilliant social media presence with her and her new husband. Congrats, by the way. And I'm sure after this episode comes out, you're going to see a video that they make saying how gay men podcast in a musical. I'm a fan. Please welcome Katie Johantgen.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
I
said the name correctly?
Yes, you did. You nailed it.
Fantastic. Nailed it.
Yeah.
I honestly choked the moment I started to say it.
Yeah, it's very funny. So that's like sort of why everyone calls me Katie Jo, because like Johantgen is just a lot.
Yeah.
But it has gotten to a point where people will be like, Katie Jo, what is your last name? And then I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh wait, let me explain. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm not Southern in any possible way.
I love that. I love that your friends just after years go, wait, I don't actually know your last name.
Yeah, I do notice that when people, like, newer friends will be like, and this is Katie Jo. And then I'll be like, oh, wait, like, they're like, and they'll say, like, Katie Jo, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, oh, wait, okay, like, you really think that is, like, my first name.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, look, I'll take it.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
You could
it fits my vibe, I think.
Does your husband know your last name?
He does. Thank God.
Thank God.
I know. It's so funny. We talked about, like, if I would take his last name, which I did consider because it's much easier. It's like 5 letters, Penka, Penca.
Katie Penka.
And that is very cute, Katie Penka. I feel that.
It reminds me a little bit of Topanga for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Katie Penka, Topanga. Yeah. Iconic character.
Iconic.
Yeah. That's fun. I didn't think about that. Well, so anyway, I've been deciding.
Also just me.
Yeah.
No one else thinks that.
But I've been trying to think, like, do I want to change my last name? But I feel very connected to my complicated, hard to spell and pronounce last name.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, speaking of marriage and connections and finding your own identity.
Yeah.
Katie, what British musical are we talking about today?
We are talking about Six.
Six
Wives.
Yeah. I mean, just, all about the marriage and identity and both understanding your identity and history to a person, specifically a man, and then also creating your own sense of self and your own narrative.
Oh, wow. You know what? I didn't even think about how well that would connect.
I didn't even.
I mean, I
myself.
Definitely did that on purpose, and I came here extremely prepared.
I have
Talk
notes.
About deep themes.
I have notes, as I usually do, but am I prepared? We shall see.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have asked you in our correspondence how to pronounce your name, but no, I asked you 5 seconds before I started recording.
No, I think that's good. It's fresh, you know what I mean?
I am fresh, direct. Honey, boo-boo, child. Katie, what is your herstory with CX?
Well, I really didn't know. I'd heard about the show, but I didn't really know much about it. And then I was invited by a friend to the first preview back in the day.
Before time.
Yeah, God. It was like probably the last live thing I saw, right? Because that would have been March 2020, early March 2020.
Yeah.
And I went into it, with like a very basic understanding of what it would be. And I had a great time. And then the world shut down, and now it's back. And
I'm
really glad it is, because I was worried there for a while. Like, will they get to come back? Like,
yeah, it's. the whole things closing and not coming back to Broadway scenario that happened for a little bit, I'm not trying to stir the pot. However, all the shows that were running or were about to open and then said we're not coming back, there were reasons for it. And so when, not to speak out of school, but I remember when Frozen announced they were not coming back, and people were like, if Disney's closing shows, what's next? And I went, Disney was gonna kind of close it.
I felt that, yeah. I feel like everything that closed, for the most part, felt like things that were probably going to close soon anyway.
Yes.
So, obviously it's always sad when a show closes, but I didn't feel that there were any, torturous losses in that way. I don't know. I just felt like when I heard that Frozen was closing and then I heard that Mean Girls was closing, I was like, oh, it's obviously a bummer for the people that were in it to not have that closure.
And you're like, there goes my opportunity.
Yeah, right. I really was gunning for Olaf, but
I was gunning for Regina.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no. I was like, I have the attitude and the legs. All I need is the high note.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, yes, it's always sad when a show closes because it's the end of a chapter, but with every closing comes
a national tour.
And also a birth of a new show.
Yes.
That's the nature of Broadway.
Yes.
Which is why whenever people go, oh, so you want people to have no jobs, be out of work, and went, well, I'm excited for the new work that's about to come to other people. It's a circle of strife.
Also, I don't know, that's sort of snarky for people to say. It's of course we don't want people to be out of work, but we're actors. We're always out of work.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually.
No one went into theater being like, job security.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And also, very rarely do you have people who stay with the show for the length of the run. I think a handful of people. Usually people are out after a year, sometimes two, because with that kind of artistic endeavor, with those kind of artistic endeavors, it's about finding new things to do and expanding your craft and your mind, you know? Challenging yourself every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just on social media.
Exactly.
But so the good news is that Six did not close. Six actually opened. We'll get to all that in just a minute.
Yay.
Although it's pretty fresh in people's minds, I suppose. When this episode comes out, it will have been running for almost 2 months.
Oh, great.
So these come out on Thursdays.
Okay.
And I did the math right before you came over. And I realized this episode would technically come out on Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've been
very thankful for that.
I am thankful that we're giving the people what they want.
You're welcome.
But Katie Jo, I was wondering for your little insight, your large insight, your wonderful, very important insight.
This is a feminism episode, okay? It's my big insight.
Let's not get graphic here, okay?
Yeah.
So, but do you think, in your wisdom, in your married wisdom, you are someone who found someone who found you? That's very difficult to do. So you have more wisdom than I do.
Okay.
Should I release this on a Friday instead?
Oh.
The day after Thanksgiving, when people are filled up with food and need something to listen to while they're lying down.
That's true. Friday is sort of famously the day of lazy activities.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because a Friday I feel like is usually the day, you just sort of loaf about. Maybe you go for a walk at most, but ultimately, I like to go to the movies the day after Thanksgiving.
That's a good thing to do. I wonder what I might see at the movies.
Will Spencer be out by then? Speaking of British royalty, I'm so excited.
I cannot wait. By this point, I will have seen Diana on Netflix.
Oh, The Bachelor in Paradise finale is tonight. My plan was to go home and continue my British royal musical day, and finally watch it because I've been dying to watch it. But I was at a wedding all weekend. But
watch it this week.
I'll watch it.
So we do not follow each other on Instagram yet,
right?
But I've been a stalker fan, but I didn't want to start following you until I met you. But point is, sometimes when I'm home alone, I grab a bottle of wine and I find something to watch on the TV that I haven't watched before. So mostly it's been the shitty Disney remakes.
Oh,
the Aladdin's, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I Instagram story the entire thing.
Oh, yes.
I was going to do Diana yesterday. And then all the apps shut down.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And I had announced it too. And
that's
it was
so funny.
I take it personally that Facebook was like, oh no, the internet cannot handle your
Yeah.
drunken take on Diana on
That's
Netflix.
so funny.
But I will have watched it by now.
Yeah,
by this point.
dear listeners, if you remember the digital apocalypse, the great digital apocalypse of early October 2021, that is what we are referring to.
Absolutely. I think of it as the 6-hour cleanse.
Yeah, I know. Everyone was like, wow, this is good. We all need a break. And I'm like, as I read everyone saying that on Twitter, as I scroll for hours, I was like, yeah, it's annoying, but it'll be back.
It'll be back. And then it came back and no one changed their ways whatsoever. Oh my God, what a wonderful vacation that was for 5 hours. It's like, girl, those are 3 episodes of The Queen's Gambit that you just waited through.
Exactly. I just continued to binge Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in peace, so...
Speaking of the Real Housewives.
Oh, yes. It's 6. Yes.
Yes. So you saw it. Were you familiar with the music before you saw it?
No.
Okay.
I really went in blind.
I love that.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with the Tudor history before you saw the show?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm into history stuff.
I can't say that I totally am, but I will say Anne Boleyn is one of my most passionate historical figures.
Yeah.
You know those
super interesting.
Those questions when people go, who are the 3 people you'd invite to a dinner party? I'd invite Anne Boleyn,
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, and Howard Ashman.
Wow. Great choices.
Thank you. Well, Ashman and I would just talk Broadway all day long.
Right.
Mr. Rogers would teach me how to be a better person.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And then Anne
Fair.
Boleyn would just be like, here's how you get men to change a country for you.
Yeah. I have lots of questions.
I have so many questions
lots
for
of
her.
questions. She got a lot done in a short amount of time.
She did, and like the landscape of England would be so different
Yeah.
if she didn't exist.
It's really wild.
Yeah.
I love all like Tudor content for that reason.
Did you like The Tudors?
I tried to watch that one. That's like where they're all just so hot, right?
Yeah, everyone's hot.
That's like the problem. I'm like, they're too hot. Like
Yeah.
those people were butt ugly.
Well, I thought Natalie Dormer was a convincing Anne.
Oh, well, she was very, very well cast
Yes,
in that.
but they claimed that Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was going to get uglier as the show progressed.
Yeah.
And they didn't totally get there. They gave him a beard and he gained a little weight. But like,
Yeah.
the thing with Henry is that he was supposed to be pretty handsome when he was younger. And then
Right.
we'll get into it
Yeah.
with Boleyn and Jane Seymour. But yes.
And also beauty standards at the time were different.
Absolutely.
So like if
And-
everybody's ugly, then somebody has to be hot. Like, you know what I mean?
Somebody has to be hot. Exactly. But that's good. So we can talk about all that history as we talk with the show. So were you kind of geeking out with a lot of the stuff when you watched the show?
Yeah, I mean, I thought what they did with it was like super, super clever. And I'm obviously more familiar with like, you know, the OG Catherine and Anne Boleyn. So it was interesting to sort of hear the stories of the later wives because I don't know as much about them.
I mean, their lives are not as long as Catherine of Aragon's, nor are they as
Right.
tumultuous as Anne's.
Yeah.
Which is probably why. But yeah, they each have some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I will also say to people who love Six is a great jumping off point to get into Tudor history. It is not exactly accurate.
No.
Nor does it necessarily need to be.
Ultimately, it's 90 minutes long.
Yeah, maybe even be like a little less than that.
Yeah, you know, Tudor history. It goes back thousands of years. So.
Exactly. And some of the facts that they do say in the show are not 100% accurate as
Right.
well. But the general idea is correct. And even the details are not so important so much as it is about the angle that each wife gets in the show.
Yes. I do hope that people wouldn't expect it to be like a full-blown history lesson.
I mean, Hamilton, everyone's like, it's exactly that. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda comes out. He's like, well, actually, Angelica and Eliza had brothers, which I just failed to include.
Yeah, well, no one cares about men.
No one cares about men. The only reason I care about them is because I'm, for some reason, attracted to them.
Yeah, I mean, same, but like ultimately, it's all about the sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the sisters. I was made aware of Six around the summer of 2019, I want to say. Maybe a little earlier than that. Whenever they had their Olivier performance, that is when I was made aware of them. A lot of the gays were going off about it. Oh, it's finally coming to Broadway. And when they had the tour, I knew a lot of people who saw it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see the show. I didn't want to listen to the music until I saw it.
Yeah.
That was really important to me. I really try not to get
I like
spoiled.
to do that too.
Yeah, I try not to get spoiled by it ahead of time. And then the world shut down. I was like, well, who knows when I'm going to get to see this show.
Right.
So I caved and listened to the score.
Yeah.
Loved it. It's become a go-to gym playlist for me.
Yes, very good for that.
Very good for that. And I have now since watched certain slime tutorials, and I hope to see it live very soon.
Yeah.
I keep entering the lottery. I keep losing.
Yeah.
Because homophobia.
Yeah.
Such is life. Anyway, so that's our intro to the show. Let's talk about how we got ourselves a little six. If there's anything you want to include, by all means. I don't know how much you know or don't know, or if there are any questions you have. This section tends to be more of a monologue on my end. And
Great.
listeners know I love to fucking talk, but I also love interjections.
Great. I will interject as necessary.
Thanks, Katie Gio. So Sixth is a musical, book, music, and lyrics by Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss. Marlowe and Moss met at Cambridge University. Marlowe was studying literature, Moss was studying history, and Marlowe saw a student production that Lucy Moss had directed, and Marlowe was super on board with her. He was like, this chick knows where it's at. And they became pretty good friends, and then they also worked on another student production together, and then just sort of became inseparable. Marlowe was an aspiring songwriter, had a lot of experience in theater, was a child performer, worked on stage and in film. Moss got into musical theater through dance. She, I think, did a lot of ballet and choreography, then went to a musical theater school before going to Cambridge. 2016, Toby Marlowe was chosen to write an original musical for the Cambridge University Musical Theatre Society.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's say that.
I think so much fancier in the UK.
Right? The Cambridge the Cambridge University Musical Theatre Society.
Yeah, mine was like Shooting Star Summer Stage.
Well, at Emerson we had our Musical Theatre Society, but it just doesn't sound as fancy.
No.
Especially when I know the shows that we did.
Right. Musical Theater Society.
Yeah, Emerson College's Musical Theatre Society. But they let me stage carousel, so we let them go on.
Yes.
Yeah, go off, sis. So this is actually where it is fancy, though. The musical was going to have a spot at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, or the Fringe as it's called. And
Yes.
listeners will remember the Fringe for being where Alan Bennett's Beyond the Fringe premiered with what's his face, Dudley Moore, and that's also where Rosencrantz and Guildenstern premiered. More recently, that's where Fleabag premiered a few years ago. So
Right.
it's a spot, but
Yeah.
it's not a guaranteed jumping off point, because there are over 3,000 entries every year. It's open access, so there's no selection. You go. And they have 1 million theaters of various sizes. Some are, proper 100-seat theaters. Some are literally a 20-seat, bathroom. And it's what you make of it. And your show can either do very, very well, or it can sort of go by unnoticed. Marlowe didn't know what kind of show it was going to be, but they did know that it was going to be predominantly a female or non-binary cast.
Cool.
And also knew that it was going to include a lot of pop music, and it was going to have a famous subject matter. It wasn't going to be an original story or adapted from a book. It was going to be something maybe historical. And had a couple of ideas. One was The Real Housewives of Shakespeare.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't watch any of the Real Housewives stuff, I know.
I am a recent convert, so I can't really admonish you too much.
I don't... I said this once before, and I don't mean this in a judgy way. I swear this is just my own journey. The only 2 pieces of reality show I watch are Drag Race and Great British Bake Off.
Yeah.
Because
both great shows.
Wonderful shows. I just don't love making people famous for doing nothing.
Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. And that's how I used to feel. I used to be I used to very much suppress and judge my interest in reality television, because I was like, oh, these people don't deserve it. They don't do anything. Whatever. Real television's where it's at. But over COVID, I just sort of embraced my actual love for reality TV and just leaned in all the way.
Okay.
Because I was always I watch The Bachelor, but it's just to make fun of it, which is true, but also I love it.
And you know all their names.
I know all their names. I'm extremely invested. And then then I got, Great British Baking Show is everybody loves that. If you don't, I'm sorry, what's wrong with you?
You might be dead inside if you don't.
You don't
like
love yourself if you don't love that.
You
show.
don't like nice things.
No.
It's that show is just sort of what's the word I'm looking for? It's medicine.
It is. It's just delightful.
You know those phrases people always say on YouTube videos, this cleared my skin and cured my crops, stuff like that? Great British Bake Off literally does that for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I'm such an Anglophile, I won't call it the Great British Baking Show. That's what I'm stupid American
Great
say.
British Bake Off. That's
Great
right.
British Bake Off. But so... one of the ideas was Real Housewives of Shakespeare. Another was maybe a backstory for the witches in Macbeth. A lot of Shakespearean stuff going on here. Eventually landed on the idea of the Six Wives of Henry VIII, and then thought about what if it was sort of like a pop concert.
Yeah.
Maybe that would incorporate the pop stuff. Marlowe also knew... I'm also not entirely sure what Marlowe's pronouns are. I think it's he. In the New York Times article that I used for research, Toby Marlowe was addressed as he, him, his. And I think that's correct. So I'm going to continue with those pronouns for the time being.
Yeah.
Because...
I'll look it up while you continue.
well, their Twitter and Instagram don't show pronouns.
I see.
But you can check it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll see
going to continue those pronouns for now, as that is what my research has informed me. But... and that's not me projecting. I know that both Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss have been very vocal about inclusion of non-binary, transgender, heterosexual, cisgender, male, female, homosexual, all that wonderful stuff. And so I just want to make sure that I'm giving both of them their proper due. Any whoozle. Knew that there was going to be a pop concert because Toby Marlowe said that he really wanted to kind of play with structure and not make it be so straightforward, and that's something that Sondheim always used to say was, you know, like the concept is sort of dictated by the idea. You don't go like, I'm gonna do an XYZ. It's like you come up with the idea of what you want to do, and then what you naturally gravitate towards becomes the structure. Yeah. So for this, you know, the idea of doing a show about the Six Wives of Henry VIII then turned into, well, maybe it's a concert. Like it wasn't all one thing. And because Lucy Moss was a history major at Cambridge and a director, Toby Marlowe was like, I gotta get Lucy to do this. He used the book by Antonia Fraser, I believe. Yeah, that Wives of Henry VIII by Antonia Fraser, as his research and inspiration for the show. And ironically, Fraser knew Lucy Moss because Lucy Moss was really good friends with Antonia Fraser's grandson. These things just have a way of connecting.
Meant to be.
Exactly. A lot of Lucy Moss's history studies were about feminist and revisionist history. So figuring out, finding a new angle on how to discuss history. Because I feel like for the longest time, we were taught history of like, it happened like this, it happened like this, and everyone just knows X, Y, and Z. And we forget that these were people, that attitudes differed from person to person, and that the truth is sort of in the middle of what like 5 different people said, not necessarily what just one person says.
Exactly. And what were our sources at the time? Who was getting to write stuff down and share it and publicize it and keep it around? And you know.
Yes, girl. Sorry, I was touching my nose. I forgot podcasts are not a visual medium. So they begin work on the show. It sort of happens in bursts. They write it over the course of like 6 months or so. They tell the Cambridge University Musical Theatre Society, this is the show we're going to do. And they're like, great, write it. And we need a title because we have to submit this to Edinburgh. And they had a bunch of titles, all kind of variations on 6 or X's. So it was like 6 X's, 6's, X-Wives. Another one was The X's, 6 Thorns, 6 Roses, Remix 6. Like, it's just a lot of that stuff. They eventually decided on 6, but they thought it was still too simple at first. So the title became 6 Divorce Beheaded Live, because the way that Edinburgh works is you get this pamphlet with all the shows in it, and we're talking like thousands of shows. Yeah. So they're like, we need it to be catchy, like catch the eye, but also inform them exactly what it is. So they're like, there you go.
There you go.
They had different pop stars in mind for each wife. Each wife was based off of a certain pop star. So obviously, or an amalgamation of pop stars. Is that the word I want to use? Yeah. I tend to use the wrong words a lot, but it just sounds right.
I think that's right.
Fantastic.
Sounds good to me.
Lovely. I went to school for musical theater, not for vocabulary.
Oh my God, same.
Oh my God. I went for a minor in vocabulary. But so Catherine of Aragon was mostly inspired by Beyonce, Anne Boleyn by Miley Cyrus, Jane Seymour, Adele, Anna of Cleves, Nicki Minaj, Catherine Howard, Ariana Grande, Catherine Parr, Alicia Keys.
Yes.
And you absolutely hear it.
It's clear.
It's very clear.
Wow, see, I didn't look that up, but I was right. Actually, I don't know if I would have guessed Miley.
I feel like
I can see it.
I've got like a little Katy Perry vibes as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's more sort of because in the show Anne Boleyn is a little more party girl antagonistic, and that's more
Yeah.
Miley's vibe than Katie's vibe.
True.
But I think I'm sure there are inspirations of Katy Perry in there. There were other. Avril Lavigne was also a big inspiration for the sound of Anne Boleyn. I know that.
Yeah.
But so that was something they were working on. They also were playing around with how many characters there were going to be. They thought about maybe having all the wives like children as the backup singers, and they were thinking of even including Halbein the Younger as a character. And then they're like, well, let's just make it the wives. It's simpler. It'll be easier to cast.
This show is a great example of less is more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also like just knowing when to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the simplest idea is the best idea.
Yeah.
Which I have always having to remind myself of.
100%. They used Beyonce's Live from Roseland Elements of 4 concert as a reference point for the show.
That was clear.
Yeah.
That was
was
clear.
it?
Well, the all-female band, like being on stage with them, it's so Beyonce.
I've never watched Live from Roseland, or at least not from start to finish. I've seen a lot of Beyonce content for sure. And 4, I very controversially say is her best album. I think 4 is
I think it is very, very good as well. Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone
I think
agrees
it's her
wonderful.
best pop album.
Sure. Well, I guess you're not including visual albums as well, right?
Well, I don't know if I would categorize her more recent stuff as pop.
Right.
You know?
That's fair.
It's the last like mainstream album that was the last album. Sorry, all her albums are mainstream. She's Beyonce, but the last one she did with under like that felt very much like under the record label's guidance.
In the milieu of which we consider pop.
Yeah,
music.
like it felt like 4 allowed her to be like, okay, now I'm going to do what I want afterwards. But I love 4. I love 4.
I love 4. And I love the album after that, Beyonce, the one where she famously just released it with no promos.
Do you remember where you were when it happened?
I remember exactly where I was.
I feel like it's like everyone knows where they were when that happened.
Yeah.
She literally changed culture. I love
100%.
Beyonce. I could go on and on.
Well, it was the first time anyone did an album where there was a music video to go with every single song.
Well, and she's the first person to just drop it as a surprise.
Absolutely.
Which now is like so common.
No fanfare. Just it showed up on iTunes and everyone, oh my God. Yeah. Crazy. God. I love it. My mom does not like the song Blow, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
She just doesn't like the lyrics. She thinks it's rather vulgar. And I went, she's talking about her cherry. She can't wait till he comes and tears it out. It's great.
Yeah, who cares? Don't listen to it then.
Don't listen to it.
She's sex positive.
She is. Well, this is pre my mom watching Sex Education, and now she's much more sex positive.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. I have not watched that show, but everyone is always raving about it. It's on my short list.
It's Sex Education, Dairy Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Get into both, guys. They're just so fantastic.
Yes.
So, they always knew from day one that Henry was never going to be in the show. He was going to be a lingering presence, but he was not going to be in it, because they're already so defined by him.
Right.
They, as I said, they decided to sort of call the show 6, Divorce, Beheaded, Live. It's just going to be the 6 wives. They go to Edinburgh, and the show does not win any awards, but they get some very encouraging reviews. And by the end of the run, they end up selling out the last couple of shows.
Great.
And they start getting some good feedback. They do a second production back at Cambridge, and Toby Marlowe knew George Stiles of Stiles and Drew. He of Betty Blue Eyes. He of half of the score to Mary Poppins on stage.
Wow.
Did they also do Honk, Stiles and Drew? I think they did.
I don't know. I never did Honk as a kid, so I don't have the allegiance to it that a lot of people do.
You don't have the allegiance to It's a Poultry Tale. Bum, bum, bum.
I know. I need to educate myself because I know it is canon. I just feel like if you didn't do it as a kid, I know.
My listeners are very aware that I say this quite a lot, but I do think it is apropos here, Katie Jo.
Yeah.
You're an uncultured fuck.
I agree. I know. I really showed my hand there by admitting I don't know anything about Honk.
You know,
here's the thing. I know Jessie J was in it, and I have watched that clip many times.
Yes, she was.
Because it is iconic.
It is so iconic. Jessie J. Oh my God. Why wasn't she an inspiration for one of the queens?
I mean, her presence is everywhere. She's like,
That's
she's
true.
like a pop star. It's so interesting that she's like blown up as much because it's almost like she's too good.
Yeah.
I feel that way a lot.
She's consistent and she's real and she doesn't need studio mixing to sound good. She just like comes out and is amazing.
And she like loves musical theater.
Yeah, that's where she got her start.
What do you want to see her in on Broadway?
Oh, geez. Well, put a pin in that because that's a question that we're going to come to at the end of the episode.
We can think about that.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I'd see her in this, but
yeah, but no, it has to, I want it to be something.
Sure.
Like.
Well, so before we go into her on Broadway, what song from Six would you most want to hear Jessie J cover?
Oh wow, I mean, any of them would be insane.
Yeah.
I think I'd want. I'd see. I don't remember the names of the songs.
The I Don't Need Your Love. The last one. I think. And I know that the show is very fluid in terms of how it casts ethnicities, but I do know that Catherine of Aragon tends to be cast with an actress of color, but I do think that No Way would fit Jessie J's voice the best.
That one definitely feels like a song that she would release.
100%.
That's the thing. I'm like any of those songs. I just want to see her riff as much as scientifically possible. Just because, like, she can. And I don't normally want that. I don't want people riffing too much. But for her, I'm like, no. As much as possible, just so we know what it's physically possible.
Oh, sure. I want to see Jessie J play Phyllis in Follies. And I want to hear the riff she does on Could I Leave You.
So you read a Bible verse that I'm cursed because I was your brother's wife. You say it's a pity because quoting Leviticus, I'll end up kiddyless all my life. Well, Daddy, weren't you there when I gave birth to Mary?
So, George Stiles brings a West End producer friend to come see the second production at Cambridge. They come together with some other producers to give it a week-long professional presentation on the West End. And from there, they record an album before eventually doing a national tour. The album goes on Spotify and Apple Music and explodes. That's how I think a lot of people got into it, was the album. And so it was already playing, by the time it was playing venues on the national tour in 2019, they had like thousands of fans coming to see the show, like cosplaying, and it was absolutely insane. They do the national tour for a couple of months, and then they come into the West End at the Arts Theatre, where they got nominated for 5 Olivier Awards, including Best Musical, although they lost to Come From Away. The actresses collectively were given a nomination for Featured Actress, which I really like, although that won't happen here.
Yeah.
They ended up losing to Patti Lupin in Company, which, you know, how can you not?
Yeah.
The show's also gotten a second wave of fandom through TikTok, as that has started to rise in the last 2 years. Which, I mean, I still don't totally get TikTok. Do you have a TikTok?
I do, yeah. It's actually technically my most successful platform, and
Really?
I use it the least because I don't understand it very well. But I love it. I think of it as like a big talent show.
Sure.
And everyone's just showing off what they can do.
Absolutely. Who knows what's going to happen in the month and a half after we record this. Maybe I'll have a TikTok by this point. As of right now, on this October 5th, I don't have a TikTok.
If for nothing else, just to watch like the videos, because it's so fun. I'm like, ooh, let's watch someone bake a beautiful pie. And then
people do that on TikTok?
Yeah, they do everything. That's what I mean. It's like a talent show, and then the algorithm figures out what you like, and then it can just be like lots of relaxing people making pie videos.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, at least that's what mine is.
We love to see it. So we're playing the West End. They eventually did have to shut down due to COVID, but we'll get back to that in a second. They do tours, more tours in the UK, Australia, and then productions on cruise ships, which was a very interesting turn that no one really saw coming. And they finally
Get that cruise money.
They got that cruise money.
It's the perfect show for a cruise.
Yeah,
get it.
80 minutes, 6-person cast.
Anything without an intermission, pop that right on a cruise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fun home on a cruise.
Yeah, people love that.
Absolutely.
That's a cruise vibe.
Telephone Wire, the biddies going to Cabo on that cruise, they would love Telephone Wire. So the show finally gets announced to come to Broadway. They're going to do a 6-month tour where I know they go to Chicago, they go to Boston, I think they go to St. Paul. They play the ART in Boston, I know that for sure. And then finally, the production was going to open at the Brooks Atkinson Theater on March 12th, 2020.
Oh my God.
But on March 12th, 2020, Broadway shut down for what we were told was going to be a month. Then it became 6 weeks, then it became 2 months, and then it became indefinitely.
Jeez.
Yep. Then it does finally open on October 3rd, that of the Mean Girls Day, 2021. at the Brooks Atkinson Theater still, with the same cast.
Yes,
Love it.
thank God.
What happened afterwards, we'll get into in just a minute. But first, Katie Jo, what is Six about?
It's about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and but they're Spice Girls, and
That's literally the
it
pitch.
is ultimately it is Spice Girls the musical, but the subject matter happens to be British history, which makes sense.
What if the Spice Girls wrote Cell Block Tango? That is
Yeah,
six.
yeah, exactly. Like, what if there was a 6 Spice Girl, and they only wrote about history?
Yeah, 100%. And there's a minor bit of plot. They are holding a competition for the audience where whoever can prove they had it worse with Henry,
Yeah.
they get to lead the girl band that they run in the afterlife, I suppose. Unclear.
Yeah.
where
We
exactly
don't need to know. We all get it.
Yeah, exactly. And so each gal does their turn.
Yeah.
And some songs are story songs. Some songs are monologues to Henry. Some songs are just statement songs. And it's quite lovely.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fun.
So you said you knew much about Aragon and Bolin.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you get into them, may I ask?
Oh, I think it's sort of I think probably a lot of actors feel this way of just being like really interested in like characters from history. And I think us also because it is already such a like they've been such a big focus in culture. There are so many movies and books and TV shows about there. And it's just, for me, it's just interesting to read about women from different time periods and like things from their perspective. So I like to read a lot of like historical fiction written from their perspective
Right.
of like, what would it be like?
Yeah.
Which is kind of exactly what this musical is. So
Oh, yeah.
I was already going to like it.
Yeah, with like a Gen Z vibe to
Yeah.
it, though. A lot of that
Yeah,
verbiage.
very Gen Z. I grew up really into like American Girl dolls, and like there was this book series called like Dear America. And it was yes, did you read?
I
Were you a
did.
fan?
There also were books like that were. I think I have a Dear America book behind you, but it's a
my God.
boy. It's a boy in a Japanese internment camp.
Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, wait, here it is. Oh,
yeah, right there, right next to Harriet the Spy.
Oh my gosh. Also loved Harriet the Spy.
I mean, I think you would love my entire book.
I know,
collection.
I need to really go through this.
Absolutely go through it. And then my DVDs behind me as well. My book,
Yeah.
my room, guys, is a clutter of books, DVDs, and scripts.
This is amazing. Wow. I'm turning away from the mic to look at your books. I probably shouldn't.
You look
but
at
I
my
will.
books while I talk then.
Yeah.
But I mean, there have been a lot of stuff on Anne Boleyn. There's Anne of a Thousand Days, the Tudors, and that's her, and Catherine of Aragon.
Well, the other Boleyn girl, whoever wrote, the author, I'm
I
blanking on her
hate
name.
that movie.
Yeah, the movie's not great, but the author of that book writes a lot of like historical fiction novels from the perspective of different women from that sort of time period, and they're sort of written in that like diary format,
Yeah.
which was like the kinds of books I loved growing up.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I've sort of like
Sure.
gotten into that.
Yeah, there was a series as well that did something similar, but with women of history. Yeah, like I remember one for Marie Antoinette, one for Elizabeth I.
Yes. Oh, those books, because they had like gold leaf on the.
Yep.
Yes, I just looked those up because I tweeted about like.
And it was always them like as a teenager.
Yes. Oh my God, because that Marie Antoinette one was like blue and it had the gold leaf cover. Oh,
and Cleopatra, I think, was yellow.
Oh, it was like the Princess. No, not Princess Diaries, because obviously Princess
Yeah, but
Diaries is
something like
another
that.
iconic series.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about that
Yeah.
because yes, I liked those books as well.
And they made a mini series of those books as well. I remember they did one with Elizabeth I.
Oh my God.
And the actress who was the alien sister in Stepsister from Planet Weird played Elizabeth. I'll never forget it.
Oh my. I don't know what
There's
that
only
is.
I just remember one scene in particular because it takes place while Elizabeth is a teenager
Okay.
or a youngish teenager.
Right.
So Henry has not died yet.
Okay.
I think it's right before Henry dies, or it's while their younger brother is king. But no, I think it's while Henry is still alive.
I think you're right.
Because Mary is in court.
Royal Diaries, maybe.
Maybe that's what it's called.
It was something
that, yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and I remember there's a scene with Mary and Elizabeth, and Mary basically is bullying Elizabeth by telling her a story about Anne and her death, and she basically was like, do you know when your mother died that the coffin was too small, but it's okay, she fit because her head was cut off, and basically Elizabeth passes
my
out,
God.
as you would when someone throws that knowledge at you.
jeez.
But yeah.
Ugh.
I think that might have been the beginning of my interest in Anne Boleyn, because I always found Elizabeth I really fascinating.
Yeah.
And then finding out about her mother and then how that came to be, I was like, well, who's this chick?
Yeah.
I only watched the Tudors because I was waiting for Anne. And they tease it in like the first or second episode that she's coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, when's she coming? When's she coming?
Yeah.
And then finally she showed up. The other Boleyn girl, did not read the book, but I saw the movie because I thought the trailer was amazing. I was like, Natalie Portman, that's actually pretty good casting.
Right. That was good casting.
And then I was just so upset with all of the historical inaccuracies of it.
Right.
Just like that Mary was weirdly like the king's true love. And I was like, Yeah. She was just the one they threw at him first and she put out, and then he got bored with her and then got Anne after her.
I guess they just thought that was a more interesting choice. But my thing is like, I don't know, the real story is pretty interesting. Just tell the real story.
Just tell the real story. It's real good. And the show definitely kind of gets most of Anne's story correct. They rush the end of her life a bit.
Yeah.
Just because, you know.
I mean, the other thing though is like, again, like they each have their own like 4-minute song, and then it sort of moves on. So it's, again, I'm like, the gist is there.
Sure.
We're not going to get a whole history.
Well, something that I thought was really kind of saucy of them, because it is a relatively PG, sometimes PG-13 show. I think the PG-13ness is more innuendo than it is outright.
Yeah.
I think they famously don't ever curse.
Which actually is very smart of them, because then,
Yeah. I mean, every time
everyone.
they're about to say shit, it's shh, or things like that. But with Anne's song, so the song's called Don't Lose Your Head, right?
Yeah.
Which is, play on words because she got beheaded.
Uh-huh.
Which she will remind you of every 5 minutes on stage.
Uh-huh.
If I have one major note for the show, it's that sometimes the beheading jokes there are a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are like 5 too many.
I get why, because it is like the most famous demise.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a couple times where I was like, okay.
Yeah. Also, like, certain lines I think would be funnier if there weren't so many of the jokes. So like, by the time that Heart of Stone happens, Anne's already joked about being beheaded like 4 times.
Right.
So when Jane goes, I mean, what's worse than a broken heart? And then Anne goes, a severed head.
Yeah.
And that would be so much funnier if she hadn't said anything for 10 minutes about it.
Right.
But I will say the jokes they make are good ones. It's just, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I would say cut 3. Just guys, hear me out.
Behead 3 of the beheading jokes.
Exactly. There we go. But so we have that play on words, but there's also the play on words towards oral sex, which the song has in terms of pret-a-manger, but also when you watch the show, it's not in the studio recording, but she makes a joke about how he wants to cut my head off. I guess he just really liked my head, and then they go further than that. But this is what I learned in my research of Anne and Mary and sort of sexuality in England. So Anne, to our listeners, as you famously know from the song, grew up in the French court, oui, oui, bonjour. Netherlands first, then the French court.
Yeah.
And she was under the tutelage of 2 very modern women of her time, which is why she was so headstrong and so intelligent and so composed, because she learned from women outside of England where they were a little more ahead of the times.
Yeah.
And on top of that, ahead of the times, sexually. And both she and her sister Mary learned a lot about the art of seduction, the art of sexuality from the women of the French court. One in particular, from what I understand, is oral sex, which was not really that... either it was not done or it wasn't known, or if it was very, like, hush-hush.
Yeah.
So Mary was the first of the Boleyn sisters to be Henry's mistress, and what made both her and Anne so... prizeworthy, I suppose, in his eyes, was that they knew how to do that, which most ladies in waiting probably did not. Yeah. So it is a very canny wordplay that they do in that song.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah, it's very smart.
And that's why they could still be virgins, because it's the blowjob loophole.
Exactly. It's the blowjob and
the origin of the blowjob.
Exactly. Catholic school.
Yeah.
The Catholic school origins.
Yeah.
If it's the mouth or the butt, it don't count.
Yeah, don't count.
Sorry, not sorry about what I said. I'm just trying to have some fun. Don't worry, don't lose your head. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Ow, oh, ow. Say oh well, or go to hell. I'm sorry, not sorry about what I said. Don't lose your head. Try to
once again bringing it back to Stuart and Spencer.
Oh, man.
I gotta say, someone wrote about how, like, she's gonna win the Oscar not just because she'll be great in it, but because the gay community has collectively decided she is going to win.
It's happening.
Yeah.
She is our chosen victor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We collectively decided that social media is going to prop her up for this. And I'm so thrilled for her.
Yeah. She deserves it.
Yeah. Well, who would she play in 6 if she sang?
Oh, if she sang, I mean, probably like the sad one.
Jane.
Yeah, Jane.
I think she's
got the sad eyes.
She could monologue the hell out of Heart of Stone, I think.
Yeah, I would see that.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah.
Although I will say, that was probably my least favorite song, and if the actress playing her didn't have such a spectacular voice, I don't know if I would have liked that.
Yeah, Abby Mueller does a really great job. It is the song I skip most on the album, mostly because, like...
It's also, like, content-wise, I'm like, oh, should we really feel for them? Like, he was such a bad person.
Well, so...
And they handle it well in the show. They make jokes about it, but...
Well, so we'll discuss the Jane Seymour of it all in a second.
Yes.
Catherine of Aragon. I mean, in some ways, is the most enduring of the wives. She was married to him the longest.
Yeah.
I think she even lived the longest, technically speaking.
Yeah.
Because she died in her 50s, 60s.
And that was pretty old back then.
That was. And a lot of these women, first of all, I mean, you have Jane who died at like 29. You have Anne who died in her late 20s. Anne's age we don't ever truly know because her father, who was like the Mama Rose of the Boleyn family.
Yes, he was.
He was like, he burned his daughter's birth certificates.
Wow.
He wanted, because he wanted them to sort of be whatever age the king wanted them to be.
Whatever was fashionable.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Make them desirable to the men of court so they could be, not even because he was like, oh, your value is to get married off. He was like, oh, no. You are our currency to get a leg up. So, like, we will all collectively use you both, and eventually...
It was a very Kardashian affair.
Oh, my God, was it a Kardashian affair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Boleyn was the Chris.
He was the momager.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
I wonder what was it? Was it Thomas Boleyn? Was that his name?
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Tomager?
Tomager. Yep. We found it. We got there.
But Catherine, for those who don't know, because the show doesn't really... They talk about it a little bit, but they don't really go into detail about this. Catherine of Aragon was at first married to Henry's brother. Mm-hmm. What was his name? Arthur, yes. Arthur died within a year due to the sweating sickness, which stayed in England for like a solid 20 years.
Yipes.
And no one ever really knew what it was, because it wasn't the flu necessarily, because it could also kill you really quickly.
Yeah.
And similar to COVID, it was like, it killed some people immediately. It didn't kill other people.
Yeah.
Some people just weakened. Because Arthur died of it, and then 25 years later, Anne got it, and so it was in England for a while.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, y'all. but hey, things they got through, and so shall we.
Yes.
But yeah, so she marries Arthur. He gets sick and dies, and she wasn't queen yet when she married Arthur because Henry and Arthur's father was still alive, and then his wife died, and then Henry's father thought about marrying Catherine himself.
Right, I remember that.
Yikes.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then luckily Catherine's dad, who was the king of Spain, said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was married to them as sort of a treaty, sort of to tie the countries together. And so basically, it was then decided she was going to marry Henry, but Henry was 9 at the time, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and so he had to be of age first. So she basically was a prisoner for 7 years.
They kept her like captive.
Yeah. But, I mean, when we say prisoner, we don't mean like she was in the Tower of London. She was living fine, but she wasn't...
She was like, I mean, it's probably how like Diana felt. Like, they were like, you're technically free, but not really. Like, you're in a mansion, but you have to stay there.
Very much so. You don't get to have say over anything
And they didn't like give her a very high allowance, so she was like sort of living in, rich person's version of poverty.
Yes, rich but cash poor.
Yeah.
Very much that.
Exactly.
But marry they do when Henry turns 17, and I believe his father dies pretty soon after they get married, and they get coronated pretty quickly. Catherine has quite a few miscarriages, ends up giving birth to Mary, Mary the First, in 1516, and after that just was unable to get pregnant ever again after like 3 or 4 miscarriages. Yeah. There are also rumors that Henry might have actually been impotent, which is why a lot of the women that he was married to had trouble getting pregnant.
Yeah.
And why there might have been actual adultery with some of these women.
Right.
Did you ever watch The Handmaid's Tale?
Yes.
I only watched the first season, but they discuss it where like all the men of the state who are trying to procreate, they're all sterile.
Yeah.
And so the handmaids who are trying to get pregnant, like they're getting pregnant usually by outside men.
Yeah.
And then claiming that it's the
Right.
generals or whatever. So there is a big theory that's been
I think statistically that makes more sense than him marrying 6 women who all have problems getting pregnant.
Literally. So it's entirely possible. But then it also kind of goes into the whole adultery thing where it's like, well, of course, Anne and Catherine Howard might have had affairs of like, you want them to get pregnant and you can't do it.
Yeah.
They need, and that was at a time where it was never the man's fault.
Right.
There was something wrong with the woman, especially when it came to gender of the baby, and which we now know due to science that it's actually the husband's DNA that determines that. Or sorry, the father's DNA. Not every father is a husband. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that was very heteronormative of me. That was very matrimonial of me. Monogamy is a prison. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Sorry, Katie Jo, you're a prisoner.
Oh my God, help.
No, lock you up and throw away the key,
Free
right?
me. Yeah, I'm miserable.
No, I just want to be in jail too.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like Oz, please. So, yeah, this is all to say, going back to Catherine's number, No Way.
Yeah.
It's at the end of her time with Henry, so we don't really learn all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do we even learn in the show that she was married to Arthur? I don't think so.
She mentions it, yeah.
Oh, she does? Okay.
She does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, actually, and
It's
they
just
mention
also quick. You know?
They do mention in the song, yes, the Leviticus bit, because when Henry wanted to divorce her for Anne Boleyn, he was trying to do it on the grounds of it was a sin in God's eyes because she was his brother's wife, and claimed, they must have slept together.
Yeah.
Because if they hadn't, then we would have a son by now, we wouldn't have all these problems, etc., etc.
Right.
And she always claimed that they had never had sex because Arthur was too sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like they
were basically like on their honeymoon when he died. They were like at the palace in Wales or whatever, and he like died right away.
Yeah, he got sick like on a Monday, died on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So No Way is her plea. It's basically inspired by her speech at Blackfriars, where when she's having a trial where they're determining the validity of the marriage, which is all just for show because he's going to do what he wants, obviously, as we know. And she does her whole speech to him, and that's what No Way is about. What do you think of No Way?
I think it's the strongest song. I think that's part of why it's like first. Or I mean, they're all great songs.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the one that it's stuck in my head the most.
It is very catchy.
It's very, very catchy. It's very fun. I think it kicks off the show and the vibe and sets the tone really well. Yeah, I think it's fun.
It is fun. It's the one that I've seen. It's the one that I've mostly seen drag queens do from the show. Because again, Don't Lose Your Head, super bop, and you and I are big Anne Boleyn girls, so like I love Anne's song, but it's a story song. It's harder to make it a performative number outside of the show.
Right.
Same thing with All You Want to Do, which I would argue I think is actually the strongest musical theater song in the show.
Yeah.
But it is not necessarily.
Well, that one is like one of the few that has like an arc, like something is happening.
Yes. And well, what's interesting is that Anne and Catherine have the 2 story songs, and they're the 2 beheadings. We chronicle their life leading up to Henry, and then sort of how Henry led to their demise.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas Catherine is the longest wife, and her song is a song to Henry. Jane is the last wife to have a child with Henry. Her song is to Henry. Anna of Cleves is more sort of a like, here I am song. Yeah. Which is, that is a song that I don't necessarily love to listen to, but I love to watch.
Oh, it is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think all the songs are very well placed throughout the show in terms of like tonally what they're doing.
Yeah, it's paced well.
Yeah. That's a good middle of the show bop.
Yeah, 100%. Do you like House of Holbein, by the way?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I think it's silly.
It's very silly.
It's funny. It is interesting, like, especially, like, revisiting it after so long today was like, oh, it is interesting that she sort of gets 2 songs. But it seems like
Anna?
Yeah, right? Because they do the House of Holbein, and then it sort of goes into, like,
Yeah.
the Queen of the Castle
Yeah.
song.
I consider Holbein a song for all of them. And
Yeah.
it does allow actors like Jane Seymour and Catherine Howard to, like, be sillier, whereas they're
Right.
not quite as silly for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it is the only song that's written to introduce a queen, whereas everybody else
Yeah.
just kind of has discussions. Like, Anna of Cleves gets, like, a full-blown, like, here's how we got Anna today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the vibe that it was like they wrote 2 songs for that character, and then they're like, didn't want to cut them or make a decision, and then
Yeah.
it was like, we can make this, like, and it doesn't feel out of place. I just sort of was like, oh yeah, technically it's 2 songs.
Yeah.
It's like one character, but
Yeah. Well, I guess also because Anna and Catherine Parr, I would argue, have the least tumultuous marriages to Henry.
right.
And so this is also where the show, why you can't necessarily take the show 6 at face value in terms of historical
Right.
accuracy, because the way they portray Anna's thoughts on Henry and, like, her life is very much, you know, screw him, screw men, I'm a boss, and here we go. And in reality, Anna of Cleves and Henry VIII actually got along very well.
Yeah.
Her nickname was the King's Sister. So there is the story that she was rejected for her looks, but I mean, they still got married, but they got it annulled within a couple of months. But also, there are other things apparently that led the marriage to being annulled. Part of it was also the cultural clash,
Yeah.
being German and him being English. She was very kind of brusque and not standoffish, but she was not willing to play along with any of, like, his flirtations, really.
Yeah.
Part of because he was so much older than she was. There's a story that
Right.
goes, in England at the time, they had a game where if you were betrothed to someone, the man would dress up in, like, disguise, quote unquote, straight out of, like, Shakespeare and
Yeah.
fantasy books, and, like, would surprise his betrothed, and if she recognized him, it was like, oh, it's meant to be. And he did that to Anna of Cleves, and she was like, she didn't recognize him, she was like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Which, as you're supposed to do when a
Yeah.
male stranger comes up to you.
Yeah.
But he got really upset. He was like, how could you not know it's me? She was like, I barely speak English and I barely know
just
you.
got here.
Yeah, I just got
Yeah.
here. But so because she never contested the annulment and was very much like, yeah, please, like, I'm happy to do whatever you
we're
want.
clearly not right for each other.
Yes,
yeah.
gave her a very generous settlement, lots of property, a bit
Yeah.
very big allowance, and because of that, they ended up having something of a friendship throughout the end of his life, and then she ended up becoming friendly with Elizabeth and Mary and Edward.
Okay.
Yeah, became very. She was the only wife to become friendly with Mary, I believe. And obviously,
Right.
famously never friends with Mary. But yeah, she was the one wife that got along with all the
Yeah.
kids. And I think it was because there was no drama of, like, you're trying to be our new mom. Like, she was in, she was out, and she sort
Yeah.
of stayed around.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a very interesting dynamic. But again, you also think about it from part of the Six's
Yeah.
motto is, like, let's view this from a different angle.
Yeah.
She has 2 castles, she has a palace, she has all this
Right.
money, she has no one to tell her what to do, she also never marries again.
Yeah. No, I
And-
think the artistic choice they made makes sense.
Oh, 100%.
For, like, what her story is. It's like, haha, I got out of this with, like, all this shit, and, like, I'm a boss ass bitch.
Yeah, she's the queen of the castle.
Yeah.
You said that I tricked you, 'cause I didn't look like my profile picture. Too bad I don't agree. So I'm gonna hang it up for everyone to see, and you can't stop me, 'cause I'm the queen of the castle. Get down, you dirty rascal, get down.
What I also really like about the song on a vocal level, because there is a lot of high belting in 6.
Yeah. It's a
It-
nice reprieve from that.
Yes,
I
it's
think.
low. It's just, and I appreciate that it's a different vocal type.
Yeah, and yeah, stylistically very different from the other songs, and
Yeah.
and again, having that right in the middle of the show, I think is nice.
A nice reprieve. I think it also comes on a dramatic storytelling level. She has the least tumultuous marriage to Henry. She
Right.
has the most smooth sailing of life after marriage.
Yeah.
So it's just a very leisurely.
So her song should be like easy and fun.
Exactly. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's living the good life.
Yeah.
There's nothing's going poorly for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jane Seymour is one where she actually gets a bit more of a nicer edit than I think history has been to Jane Seymour. History has said that Henry cared for her probably the most, or at least, but it's also the mentality of, sorry, let me rephrase this. History has claimed that Henry probably loved Jane the most of all the wives, but that's also probably because she died before he could change his mind about her.
Exactly. That's how I feel. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I think she just died really quickly.
Yeah, because he changed his mind about almost all the wives.
Yeah. And then, like, yeah, it's like, oh, because she died so quickly, he was probably, like, very sad about it because he was still, like, into her. So then, yeah, they interpreted that as him being, like, in love with her the most.
Yeah,
but...
and gave him a son, which he very much wanted.
Right.
Granted, it was a very sickly son. Yeah, I mean, Edward, I don't think ever really lived. First of all, he died at 15.
Right.
Became king at 9, which is crazy. And then, king until he was 15. From everything I've ever read, he never was, like, healthy for long periods of time. He was always kind of frail. Which is, I mean, the kind of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The cruel irony of it all.
Old-timey England just sounds like the most miserable place. Like, everyone was just so fucking frail and sick.
Well, they were throwing their shit out the window every day.
They were just all, like, gross and, like, ugly and sickly. It's just like...
Well, they're the reason why there's, like, all this disease in America. I mean, the story goes with that is, they come over to America and the Native Americans get introduced to, all of their STIs and their illnesses. And on top of this, like, Europe's health regimens are terrible. Yeah. And so they're telling, oh, yes, take this potion and put on these oils and whatnot.
Yeah, no, they were, like, really dumb.
Yeah.
Dirty colonizers. Dirty colonizers.
Dumb, dirty colonizers. The only reason why we have perfume and cologne and deodorant is because it was to cover up
they smelled like shit.
Yeah. They bathed once a week, or if then.
Oh, God.
They had all this dead skin, probably. They had pounds of makeup.
That's just, like, so funny watching stuff like the Tudors, where they're all just, like, so hot and gorgeous. I'm like, that place was a nasty, nasty shithole.
Nasty shithole. Let's talk about it, please. There's a reason why Jane died in her late 20s. The other thing that they don't ever really talk about in the show, they do mention how, like, Anne was kind of antagonistic of Catherine, but I thought it would have been interesting to sort of show how Jane was then also antagonistic of Anne. Because Anne was a lady in waiting for Catherine. Actually, so was Jane, now that I think about it. Anne was not queen for very long. Right. So Jane was able to be a lady in waiting for both queens at one point. But when Henry got tired of Anne, and then also Anne was becoming a little too much for him because she spoke her mind every day. Yeah. And also was not providing him with the son that he needed. He's turned his attentions to Jane, and then Jane is not the, like, demure wallflower that she's portrayed as in the show. Yeah. Like, he gave her a locket with his portrait in it, which she then would, like, show to everyone, like, in front of Anne Boleyn. There's another story that goes, like, she was in Anne's, like, chambers and was, like, twirling the locket and opening and closing it, just like, as you do, like, what you gonna do about it, ho? And then Anne grabbed it and ripped it off her neck till her fingers bled.
Oh my God.
Yep. And then
trauma.
And then there's another story which the Tudors decides to make true, which is that Anne, when pregnant with what ended up becoming a son, walked in on Jane and Henry. Ugh. And that led her to miscarry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She had, I think, 2 miscarriages after Elizabeth. Yeah, very sad. Yeah. And one of the other miscarriages is apparently at a jousting tournament that Henry was at, where he got very injured. That the stress from that, and also the stress of Jane being there, led her to miscarry. Yeah. And that injury is what led to Henry's physical change over the years, because he got something happened with his knee or his ankle or something like that, so he couldn't really be physical anymore. And then, so he just gained a lot of weight. He also became a lot more stiff, and he limped, and he just started to become more of an old man. And people also said that kind of changed his demeanor. Yeah. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it all makes sense. But as I said, that's why we don't take 6 at face value. We enjoy it for what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So, we love No Way. We love I Don't Need Your Love. We love House of Holbein. We don't like Heart of Stone so much.
It's fine.
So, what is it about it that makes it maybe less interesting to you as the other songs?
I just like I just love the, like, the comedic upbeat angle of the rest of the show. And so then the sudden pivot to like, actually I was in love and like he was amazing to me and like I have a sad story. I'm just sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
I get why it is like a good, like structurally a good like pacing thing to have
Sure.
like a more serious sad song, and again like it's performed beautifully, and you know, and it's not a bad song. I'm just like, I don't know. I find it hard to be empathetic towards this.
It doesn't also really like build up to that. It kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Especially when we have 3 songs in a row. Like we have Ex-Wives, which is just, you know, a big, bold opening number.
Yeah.
No Way, which is a bop. Don't Lose Your Head, which is both a bop and a comedy number.
Yeah.
And then the way that they treat Anne's death afterwards, when Anne's like, oh my God, I'm totally dead. And they go, didn't you really die? Yeah, it was so extra. And then they go into Jane, and Jane's just like, serious. Jane is that girl in college where we're doing studio.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we're trying out our Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff, and people are doing Can't Say No, people are doing Wonderful Guy, and someone comes in and does What's the Use of Wonder, and you're like, I thought we all agreed to do up-tempos.
Yeah, no, she's just that girl like in the friend group that's just like always on the verge of tears, and it's just like exhausting. And
Want to hear my monologue?
yeah, exactly. just very, very fragile.
Yeah.
My friend Hannah Pocus, who's also very funny Instagram comedian, does a great character bit that reminds me of Jane Seymour. Just like it's like woman who's always on the verge of
tears.
of just absolutely breaking down. And
Would you say
it's
she's
fine.
a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown?
You know what? I would say that. Yes, for the
Okay.
record, I would say that.
Soon I'll have to go. I'll never see him grow. But I hope my son will know he'll never be alone. 'Cause like a river runs dry and leaves its scars behind, I'll be by your side. 'Cause my love is set in stone.
Yeah.
They talked about in the New York Times article, like they always wanted the show to be light and fun.
Yeah.
They didn't want to take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
But they also, like, you know, like a good writer would, they said just because it's 80 minutes and frothy doesn't mean that we can't sort of really take this seriously as
Yeah.
writers. Like
Yeah.
they do their homework, which is great. And I talk about it all the time, like when we say, oh, it's not trying to break new ground, it's usually code for it's bad and poorly written.
Right.
Like, speaking of Diana, a review was like, lighten up, guys, it's fun. I was like, you're telling me it's not good and
Yeah.
tell me to get over myself. Like,
No.
something can be fun and
Yeah.
be well written.
But also, like, I think that, like, I mean, I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but the Diana of it all is like, so I might be wrong, but the Diana of it all, the vibe I get from the clips I've seen and whatever is that it's trying to be a different musical than it is or should be. It feels inappropriate to the subject matter, the tone that it seems to take. In a lot
love
of the
that,
clips
though.
I've seen. Oh, like, I'm very excited to watch it.
I can't
but
wait.
I think that it is probably not a good musical.
No.
Whereas whoever created Diana the musical wants what Six has, in that Six like understands exactly the tone. It never takes itself too seriously. It executes the tone and the style perfectly. It's just fun. It has moments that are touching and more serious, but ultimately it is very cohesive, and it's a Spice Girls concert. It is fun.
Yeah.
And Diana shouldn't be that.
I think also because Diana is still in our memories. Like, she did not die that long ago.
Yeah,
Like, these women died hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, this is like a person who was like alive during our lifetime, and yeah, and especially I think in contrast with all of the very prestige Diana content that has been coming out lately, it's sort of just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it wouldn't be as bothersome if like this season of The Crown and the upcoming Spencer movie hadn't just happened.
Sure.
But to have, so those like they were both really well done. But like, yeah, for something about Diana to come out that is like seemingly very silly feels like inappropriate. I don't know.
No, absolutely.
I just like, I really, 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 really wanted it to be good because I just like am really fascinated by Princess Diana
Sure.
and the royals in general, and like I think it has so much potential. Like all the elements of that story are like elements that I think would make an incredible musical, and so I'm like, they wasted this.
Yeah. Well, people have said that it reminds them a lot of Evita, and I'm very interested to see how that goes because Diana was not really an Eva Peron, other than the fact that she was fashionable and like did good in the world, but was not.
I think that's kind of like a lame take. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she was a famous woman, and this is a musical
And
about a
blonde.
famous woman from history.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Yeah, but they were different.
They,
Like,
they
one
could not
was-
have been more different.
Yeah.
And I think part of what makes Evita. So I have covered Evita on this series.
Yeah.
And obviously we're talking about the British invasion. And I argue, I don't think Evita is actually a very good musical, but it's very effective.
Yeah.
And especially when you have like a 29-year-old coked out Patti LuPone
Yeah.
doing it with Hal Prince's staging.
And it takes itself seriously.
Yeah. Well,
So it works.
it has a sense of humor, but also it's an over-the-top telling of an over-the-top woman
Yeah.
and a bonker story.
Yeah.
So the synergy of all that just sort of blends really well. Whereas
Right.
Diana like was a little more tragic and a little more miserable. She wasn't a dictator.
No.
I mean, she was complicated like everyone was, but
Right.
did not have a Swiss bank account and like
No.
robbed the country blind.
Yeah.
Nor was she, considered to be an uber bitch in the way that
Right.
Eva Peron was. There was so much more tragedy to her, and then also on top of that, again, we knew Diana-ish, and so
It was very well documented. So we all are coming in with an opinion.
I think she has the title of being the most photographed person of all time, or at least maybe it's like
Yeah.
the most photographed person who didn't want to be photographed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they said.
Yeah.
It's such a shame, but Diana to 6. I don't know how we got here. Oh,
Yeah.
so something with 6 that's interesting to me that I've talked about a lot with the British invasion is a lot of these shows that I've covered sort of on like a analytical level. You could argue for flaws they might have, or maybe they're not good. So again, as I said, I don't think that Evita is objectively good. I think it's actually kind of poorly written as a musical.
Right.
But it is very effective.
It's extremely effective.
And I like it very much.
And
there's
it
a
is the best Angela Lloyd Webber musical. I'm going to just go ahead and make that
Oh, absolutely.
decision. I think most people feel that way.
Yeah. I think Phantom's a little more impenetrable, but
It's that one, like, story-wise is probably,
Yeah,
it's cleaner as a story.
yeah, Phantom's a little more indestructible, but I think Phantom is a poorer work
Mm-hmm.
than Evita. I also have bunches of issues with Phantom that I didn't realize I had with it until I did research for it for that episode, which everyone can go back and listen to now.
Yay.
But we don't have to go into the sexual trauma that got reawakened watching Phantom. Very similar to Catherine Howard's story, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that when I listen to that song, I'm not like triggered. I'm just like, poor Catherine. And then like 10 minutes later, I go, oh, right, I had a similar situation to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Looking at me, you wouldn't realize I'm an ingenue. But
No, I can see it.
I'm a
I can
tortured
see it.
ingenue, yeah.
Yes.
But so what I've been saying is, first of all, there's a difference between saying something's good and saying you like something,
Right.
And a lot of people maybe don't recognize the difference and aren't able to do the work on
Yeah.
both ends to figure it out.
Yeah.
I like to think most of the things I like are good, but there are things that I like out there more on the film spectrum where I'm like, it's not good. A perfect example. Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
It is not good.
Yeah.
But I think
But it's also, like, not supposed to be good. It's camp.
it's hard to tell though.
I don't know.
Katie Jo-
Dolly's very smart.
She is. There are times when I think it's trying to be cheeky camp, and then there are times when I think it takes itself very seriously.
Yeah.
And the whole thing for me is just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Whereas like 6, I don't think 6 ever takes itself very seriously so much as that it's like they know, as you said, they know when they need to slow down for a second, and they go, okay, so who's this person that's going to slow down? It's going to be Jane.
Yeah.
And then we have Catherine Howard, who actually had a more tragic life than Jane, but we can't have another ballad, so
Right.
let's do a bop and give it sort of a dramatic spin.
Yeah.
Which I think is very smart.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it also fits, like, what that character specifically went through.
Exactly.
Of, like, on the surface level, it's like, oh, this girl was the promiscuous one, but really actually was, like, trauma and abuse.
yes, was taken advantage of, and even though I find that sometimes people, especially now, have a really hard time understanding, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess perspective. People have a hard time now when they look at history, putting themselves in the moment of when something happened, especially when it comes to age, when it comes to gender. So when, someone will get like, why couldn't she do X, Y, and Z? I'm like, this is 1432 England. She couldn't do any of that.
She couldn't do anything.
It's why I really hate when shows about people from a very specific time gets rewritten so they're more like woke from modern perspectives. I'm like, you're actually undermining what made this so progressive for its moment. Like, and, like, don't rob them of this moment. The example I use all the time is Gigi, which is, granted, the movie of Gigi, I think its biggest flaw is that they just remodeling it too much of My Fair Lady.
Right.
But they still lean into the feminism of Colette, which is like, for a woman in 1900 Paris who had no prospects and came from a long line of courtesans, like, for Gigi to get the ending she has is very progressive and like very feminist.
Yeah.
But of course, with the Vanessa Hudgens show, they're like, well, we need to add all the girl boss things.
Right.
Which, when you watch the Cinderella on Amazon, very similar.
Yeah.
And I say these terms, and I know it sounds like I am being condescending to the terms like girl boss.
No.
I'm not.
No, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that girl boss as a movement is a lot.
It's shallow, and
it's very shallow. It's very based in like capitalistic, ideals, and it's been exploited and sort of like
marketed.
It's lost its meaning. Yeah, it's a capitalist feminism.
Yeah, it's easier.
Girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight.
Exactly. The 3 Gs. It's easier to buy a shirt that says girl boss and watch a movie that was written by a woman that says girl boss than it is to actually like get your hands dirty in the system, like make change.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about gays. I'm like, it's easier to watch. I mean, Lord knows I love Call Me by Your Name, and Lord knows I love to support drag queens. It's like, it's easier to go see a drag queen and go, yes, girl, and like walk around and have sex with whoever than it is to like actually try to make civil change for your community. And I think, like reality TV, we're allowed our reprieves, but we also need to understand the difference between the two. In the same way of saying there's a difference between liking something and thinking something's good. And we're back.
Yes, we made it back.
We found our way back. But so with 6, sometimes I ask myself, do I like this or is this good? Are they both? Are they different? And another thing with British stuff, as my listeners have been hearing, is that I have found with a lot of these shows, again, as you can sort of find flaws and stuff, a lot of these shows have taken advantage of, in a good way, have like really cracked the code on like embracing what you can do in theater. It's theatrical storytelling at its finest, because it's just like so many of these shows, why you could never make them as a film, and we see that with Cats and Phantom and Evita, for example, is that they do things that you can only get away with on a stage. Yeah. With that,
the spectacle is so impressive live.
Yeah.
And when we put that into film, then you just are left with the story, which ultimately is not well done.
Well, and it's harder for people to take chances on film and maybe do something a little more avant-garde, especially with so many people when they watch movies, they take things a little more literally, more realistically. Stage, you have this invisible contract where everyone comes in being like, we know this isn't real. Yeah. So we're going to enjoy it for what it is. Yeah. And I think 6 is a great example of that, right? Where you go and you're like, I know these aren't the actual Tudors. I know this is like not a real concert and that whatever. But I don't know. I've lost my train of thought, but it's that all kind of comes together in a way that you can only really experience in a theater, which is why I think it actually is a good show.
Yeah. I do too. I think it knows exactly what it is and it executes it perfectly. I don't think it's trying to be anything other than what it is. Yeah. And I think it's fun. And I think they walk that line of like the sort of, what we were just talking about, the problematic girl boss energy. There are moments where you're like, oh, is this doing that? But then you're like, no. And I think the reason that probably it has handled that well and it feels authentic and not like cringy girl boss vibes is because like it is like, there's just so many actual women involved in creatively in the process of it, like, which is great to see. It's like what you can do if you actually employ women to tell their own stories.
Who'd have thunk? It's also, I think what I love about it as well is that when it gets to that moment where I wouldn't even call it girl boss so much as it's just like a general sense of like fulfillment and happiness at the end. Like they don't come out like the end of the show is not like women only, pussy popping on the floor. It's just like these individuals who rewrite their own narratives and like find a central calm and joy from like separating themselves from the narrative that they've been a part of forever. And I think maybe that moves me more than just like any like Paskin Paul "This Is Me" power ballad, which is like generic.
Where that feels, it just feels very contrived. Yeah. As opposed to being like, nope, it is what it is. Like, and that's fun about Six is like it doesn't dwell too long on the like, this is the secret message of the show. They even like kind of make a joke about it. Yeah. You know, like again, it never takes itself too seriously. It never stops moving. It's like, this is the moral of the story. It's not that deep. You're all smart. You get it. Let's sing again. We're here to riff. Yeah. And I really like that, and I think it's like a really interesting show that is sort of, I think, examining how we can still like create new things within musical theater that are going to fit the short form content world. I mean, you know, it's short form content as far as like a full stage Broadway musical goes. Yeah. Being 90 minutes, no intermission, and like it's fast paced, and I'm like, okay, this is like TikTok generation style of musical theater, but done very, very well.
I don't feel shortchanged when I watch it.
Exactly. No, it's not. It just feels like this, because there are so many shows you see where you're like, God, that's just, if they had cut like so much, then it would have been so much better. But like this, it's like, no, this is like sometimes short and sweet. Yeah.
Well, so when we talk about length, right, it's never about a show has to be a specific amount of time, right, in order to be good, right. I mean, Les Mis, I prefer Les Mis actually when it's not quite done at cocaine level tempos, and like they include some of the old extra verses again. Yeah, like that original Broadway production of Les Mis, 3 hours and 20 minutes flies by for me. Right,
that's the thing, and that's what I mean. I don't mean to say that they like intentionally were like, this is going to be short. It just feels like they were like, it doesn't have to be more than what it should be.
Well, and that's what I mean is they looked at the story they were telling, the concept they had for it, and they're like, this has a deadline, but this has like a finished line. Like there is a certain amount of time we can get away with this before we start running out of steam. Yeah. And there are a lot of modern shows, I think, that don't recognize that. Yeah. And it's why a lot of Golden Age musicals actually don't feel long, even though they are longer, because like Oscar Hammerstein, genius book writer that he was, like in the 40s, they were concerned with time as well. Like they cut stuff out of all their shows, being like, let's cut to the chase. And and like even though those shows are 2 hours and 45 minutes, they don't feel it.
No, and if you look at the scripts, like if you've ever done those shows, like the scenes are short. Yeah. It's just but they're packed with songs because they were like, and that's what they're like. We got to get to the song, and so the stakes are high in every scene, and then you earn it.
Yeah, they're woven together in a way where it all just sort of flows. And if it's a good show, if the story is compelling, if the songs are in the moments where they make sense, it never feels like, oh God, another song when we get to the end. Where there's other shows where I'm thinking, motherfucker, cut it, cut that shit. Yeah, it's speaking of Andrew Lloyd Webber. I just recorded and finished editing the Sunset Boulevard episode, which talk about a show where there's a difference between liking it and thinking it's good. Yeah. And I know a lot of gay men who love that show, and I'm like, okay, but I need you to understand it's not good.
No, it's not good.
It's not good. The movie is phenomenal. Yeah. The show does not understand the assignment at all. Yeah. And there are so many times where I'm like, oh, that song could get cut. Yeah. You could cut her. You could cut him. It's, but Six is also an interesting case because like, maybe because the show was already written before the concept album came out. Yeah. That the songs don't feel extraneous or like things you might want to trim. I mean, we talked about how Heart of Stone, we're like, wrap it up, Jane. I want to get back to the bops. Right. But I feel like in the theater, it's not quite.
No, and yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, beautiful song. Yeah. Well done.
And you get a good chanteuse to do it. And, sensible 4.5 minutes. Yeah. It's no MacArthur Park where Donna Summer goes on for 20. Right. Yeah, we don't do any of that stuff. I love it. Who would you say is the queen you're most like, at least in this show?
Oh, wow.
Song attitude wise, or are you combo?
Oh, song attitude wise. Oh, I would probably be. I would say like Anne Boleyn for sure. Just the fact that that's like the comedy song.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially how I forget the actress's name. The actress who does it on Broadway now. She does it very comedically.
Yes.
And I love it.
It's very fun.
I like her. I mean, I love all the women in this.
It's extremely
in
well
this Broadway
cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actress, I do know the name, Samantha Pauly, who plays Catherine Howard. She has a whole bit before we go into her song.
Yeah.
Where everyone, the joke is like, she's the least relevant Catherine. She's the beheading that nobody cares about.
Right.
And then she has a whole bit where she basically reads each one of them for filth, and she does it so well.
Yeah, that part is very fun.
Yeah, I think I'm a mixture of Anne and Catherine. I tend to bring up Sex and the City a lot on this podcast. I find ways to bring that show into all of the shows.
Yeah. Well, it's part of why I think Six is so successful, because it does that like Sex and the City Spice Girls thing of like, which queen are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is such a brilliant thing, because it's just like people love that.
Yeah,
and what I like gets old.
Yeah, I think so. Something else that I kind of really like about Six's feminist energy is that like feminism does not mean that a person is perfect, and same with the like being for the LGBTQIA community is not saying like all queer people are perfect. Like we're all flawed.
Yeah,
and
we're human beings.
Yes. And so like with Sex and the City, what I always liked was how all four women like have moments where they are in the right or have a good point, and moments where they're in the wrong. And Six is kind of the same. Like the whole point of the competition obviously comes rearing its ugly head at the end when Catherine Parr's like, I don't want to do the competition. We're competing against each other, tearing each other down, and for what? Just to like say that one of us was the most important in this man's life. Like,
right.
No. And of course, as you said, and when you watch the show, the writing is very clever and the direction is very clever, where like the audience is putting it together 2 steps ahead of the characters, and the actors are directing away being like, you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Like there's some moment where they're like, wow, I wish we had realized this before we started like this competition. I wish we had a song to sing.
If only that was the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Very much that.
Yeah,
and like,
I love that. I forgot that part happened, because I was like, oh yeah, here we go. They're like the corny realization of like, we should all get along. And then it's like they even turn that on its head of like,
they wink at it. They're like,
obviously that's what this was coming to.
Absolutely.
And I love that. And that's, I mean, it's so well done. They just get it.
Yeah, because it's earned. It's 70 minutes of them earnestly going like, we're competing.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the last 10 minutes, what keeps her being eye roll is like they've been so earnest the entire time that's the first time they ever kind of become winky of like, come on, we're like, they haven't been that winky the entire time. So if they had been, I feel like a lot of cynical audiences would be rolling their eyes at that moment.
Right.
But because it's really the first time they all collectively have that attitude.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's and cheeky.
It's cheeky.
And when they're like, if only we had a song to sing to represent this idea.
We're one of a kind, no category. Too many years lost in history. We're free to take our crown in glory for 5 more minutes. We're 6.
I don't even know where we started with before we were Michelle. But
well, we're just talking about like that a lot of shows have tried to jump on the quote unquote bandwagon of caring about women, and not everyone is good at doing it.
Yeah.
And the best, as we see with a lot of what's going on in terms of like wanting to heighten other stories, is like let people tell their own stories, and it's usually more successful.
Yeah.
And more authentic, and feels more true and more fun.
Yeah. I think also, as someone who has been writing and trying to, be better at it, what I have learned, and I wish more people would learn this, when they're like, well, do you only have to write about what you know? Shouldn't you like expand your brain? And like, you actually become better and more empathetic if you do create with others who are not like you.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like, if it's a story about women, it should only be a female team. But if you are a man who wants to write about women, have a female collaborator. You're going to learn
women.
Yeah, you're going to learn so much, and you're going to become better, and your mind's going to become more expansive.
Yeah.
And it's just that it just helps.
Yeah.
It just helps so much. And same thing with having BIPOC collaborators or having trans collaborators. Like, there's so much talent out there, so many perspectives out there, and it could just be so good. Again, not every show written by XYZ is going to be good. Tell me how many people know quilters,
Right.
But also, how many shows about gays written by gays are good? Not nearly enough of them, I'll say.
Well, that we've gotten to see. Because that's the other thing. I'm like, it's not that it's such a tough conversation because it's like, it's not that like obviously all straight white men are bad or like not talented. It's just that like that historically those are the people who have gotten the opportunities and the ability to be the ones telling the stories. And so it's time for other people's turn. And if we start like opening up and giving those spots to other people who haven't had the chance to tell their stories or haven't had the chance to be the ones in charge of telling stories or crafting or curating those stories, like we don't know what we're missing.
Yeah.
And when we get glimpses of it, it's delightful.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, white men have had the opportunity to like be mediocre for hundreds of years.
Some have won Tonys for it.
Give other people the chance to be mediocre or brilliant or bad. Like just give people the chance to be anything at all.
Try, yeah.
Because then when it's just like, oh, well, then there's like one female playwright this season. It's like, oh, well, they have to be the best thing in the world. It's like, maybe they could be bad.
Yeah.
But if they're the only one, there's so much pressure to be like the token person.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a whole conversation.
Oh,
we go on and on about.
Oh, no, of course. It's by being the only, the pressure of being good is honestly unreachable. It's unlivable. For, as you said, like how many men have been mediocre, have been terrible, and have continued to have chances and more opportunities to find maybe their success down the road. Like how many, much as we love him, like how many flops has Stephen Sondheim had and still gets to come back like that.
Right.
And granted, he is a brilliant man.
Yeah.
But I've talked about this on the Sondheim series, like the number of shows that came out while he was a writer, like certain seasons you see where there's a work written by an African-American writer that does not have the same legacy as some of other Sondheim shows. And those were shows that would often make money their seasons when Sondheim's wouldn't. And it's like, what's the disconnect here, you know? Yeah. Side note, in terms of the queer narrative, I just want to tell everybody right here, right now, I think one of the best films about gay men specifically is The Birdcage, which is technically written by directed by a straight man, but written by Elaine May, who took the French comedy and gave it such bite because she's one of the most brilliant people to ever be alive, and insight and humanity and nuance. Like like you wouldn't think of Elaine May to write a screenplay for La Cage,
Right.
And honestly, I think her screenplay is better than Harvey Fierstein's book for the musical La Cage, which is just to say, once again, think outside the box with your creatives. Find people with different perspectives. Don't think about necessarily gender or ethnicity. Don't go with what you know. Go with, just try other people.
Yeah.
Try other perspectives.
Yeah.
There's so many perspectives out in the world, you know?
Yeah.
Have we learned nothing from Six?
Yeah.
History is about whose perspective it comes from.
Yeah.
We're one of a kind, no category. Too many years lost in history. We're free to take our crowning glory for 5 more minutes. We're six. We're six.
Katie, this has been lovely.
It's been delightful.
I've been enjoying this so thoroughly. Thank you for letting me speak so much and not once going,
No, I'm having fun. I love talking about musical theater. I mean, that's sort of all I do.
Well, let's talk about something else then. How do you feel about trickle-down economics?
Oh, it doesn't work, and capitalism is a lie.
Absolutely. You know who doesn't think that way? Cinderella in the Amazon movie.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, the Bezos project.
Yeah, she wants to
Yikes.
contribute to, well, to be fair, he did not...
That is the ultimate girl boss gatekeep gaslight.
Yeah. To be fair, he did not produce it. Someone else produced it, and then he bought it.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like Kate Cannon was hired by Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos went, oh yes, of course. This falls into Amazon's narrative. Let's buy it.
Right.
It still doesn't make it any less.
Yeah, being a successful girl is finding out how you can make a lot of money.
Yep, 100%. Or in your case, how can I get married and make Matt Koplik have an existential crisis about it on Instagram, even though he didn't know me until today. I mean, that photo of you in your wedding dress, I don't want a wedding dress, but I want your wedding dress.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You will be giving it to me before the year is out.
That's fair. I just had it cleaned. It's pretty dirty.
Have you had it taken out though? Because I don't know if you realize this, we're different body types. I'm a little.
Oh, well, it can be taken out. Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
I've got-
I mean, I might need it taken out at this point. I was like, as soon as the wedding was over, I'm like, and I'm done working out.
Give me my cake, please.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned, the show did open at the Brooks Atkinson Theater, and I don't know if you read any of the reviews for it.
I have not.
They are extremely positive.
Oh, good.
Which is lovely.
They
yeah.
should be, yeah.
They are. And what I like about, first of all, many of the reviews, white heterosexual men, so it is only frustrating in the sense of, like, we can have more gatekeepers, you know.
Yeah, that's another review.
Yes.
Theater reviewing. That's just a whole other rabbit hole. But the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
we just need to hear from other people.
It's not necessarily the, like,
I don't want
their
just. It's the same thing with history. Like
Yeah.
history is only at this point mostly been passed down by white men. So it's like the history of theater is often determined by the reviews, and if the only people getting to write reviews that are the big ones are white men.
Yeah. What I will say is that history has become less kind to reviewers, if that makes us feel any better about their legacy.
Yeah.
And that we only read reviews of shows anymore from the past to see, like, what the reviews were at the time of Company. Like, we don't
Yeah.
care what Brooks Atkinson thought of Company.
Right.
We care about Company.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, it's fun to see what he thought. And then, like, if it's a bad review, we go, oh, well, you know, fuck him.
Right.
But yes, as we've learned with Six, it's not so much that, like, a perspective is bad, but we just need more. And again, that can challenge the perspectives that have been the perspectives for so long.
Yeah.
It is, though, very ironic that these older straight white men who were reviewing Six loved it so much and honestly got the gist of it, of like what it was
Yeah.
trying to do pretty
But I
well.
think it's because I think it's really clear. I think
It
it's
is.
just like it just comes back to the less is more thing. Like they're not trying to. They are exactly what the show is exactly what it sets out to be, and it does it exactly right. I think.
I just appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's
It's not
reminds me.
complicated. It's just fun.
It reminds me these reviews understanding what the show is doing and how
Yes.
well it does it reminds me of a scene that makes me cry every time I watch it. It's in the Lego Movie. Hear me out.
Oh, no, I'm on board. I like a movie is very good.
It's wonderful. It's when Will Ferrell realizes that his son is actually very creative and talented. And he thinks, at first he's like, you're messing with my stuff. And then he realizes, oh no, my son created all these things. And he looks at him and he's like, you made all this? And then he gets down on his knees and he hugs him.
Oh,
It's someone who has like a very strategic, structured way of looking at quality and content and then expanding their mind a bit more, just a little
Yeah.
bit to take in something different and how it affects them.
Oh.
I like that.
yeah.
It makes me happy.
Everyone watch the Lego Movie.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a great movie.
I mean, Chris Pratt, whatever, but he's
Yeah.
wonderful in that film. I
Yeah.
think of it more as an Elizabeth Banks film, but
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. We'll think of
And
it that way.
Alison Brie.
Yeah.
God, you remind me a bit of Alison Brie.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. But like in literally every role she's ever played.
Yeah.
She's both. You're both Trudy in Mad Men and Annie on Community.
I feel that very strongly. I feel those would be good typecast parts for you.
100%. I would absolutely cast you as Annie in the Community musical.
Oh yes, let's write it.
We have no Tony nominations yet for Six, as it has just come out. One of the reviews, I think it was the Washington Post, called it Spice Girls Meets the First Wives Club, and I was like, accurate, and that's a way to sell 1 million tickets.
Yeah,
At least for me.
that's perfect for the marquee.
Yeah. Have you watched the First Wives Club?
No.
You've never
I
seen
know,
the First Wives Club?
I know. I mean, like, I know about it enough culturally, but, like, I actually haven't sat down and watched it.
It's so good.
I need to. I mean, obviously, I love Real Housewives, and
Of
I feel like
course.
it's the vibe.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's enough booze in there and some dancing, but it's very 90s.
Yeah.
Everyone is in it. Absolutely
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And it might be my favorite Sarah Jessica Parker performance of all time.
Yeah.
It's so good. And they wear all white at the end and dance in the street to You Don't Own Me. Like, it's amazing. I love it so much. Ariana Grande referenced it when she sang, I think, Thank You Next on Ellen DeGeneres, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, full tea, speaking of the lottery, I ran into someone I know who works at Nederlander, and I said, why am I having a hard time with the lottery? He goes, well, we don't have a ton of tickets for the lottery. And I go, why? And he says, because it has a $12 million advance. And he says, it has more money in the bank right now than Wicked and Lion King.
Whoa.
He says, and he said, I think after tonight, because this was on opening night, he's like, after tonight, I think that advance is going to, like, increase by a lot, which I'm almost positive it has.
Great.
I'm so happy for them.
That's great.
And that's-
especially after, like, the disappointment of like missing opening night
Yeah.
and then come back so triumphantly.
Absolutely. And the reviewers all were like, thank God that this is like the first musical of the new season. Like, what a way to start things off.
Yeah.
They're like,
That was the energy I felt at the previews. I was like, wow, this is very exciting. This is so good. How exciting that this is so good. What's next? And then nothing was next. And now it's back.
thank you. Next.
Yeah.
I will say there's one last thing I want to say about the show that I thought was very funny is every time they come together to sing Six in the show, they're like, where they do like whatever, how many parts harmonies, and they felt like Six.
Yeah.
And then once Catherine Parr has her moment, her Alicia Keys moment, and they all realize what they've been doing, they go, huh, I guess because everyone only knows this as Six. And
Yeah,
it's,
that part's very funny.
it's so funny. I like it
so
very
cute.
much. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, rapid fire questions for you, Miss Katie Jo.
Yes.
First question. Far too many notes for my taste. If you had to cut one song from the show, what would it be?
From Six?
Yeah.
The Jane Seymour song.
Heart of Stone, yeah.
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 I mean, you can't cut it.
You can't cut anything from
You can't
Six.
cut because it is exactly, it's just so tight. But yeah, I guess.
We're talking about have to, yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah. What if I was like, cut the opening number, just have it open with
Yeah.
them, like doing a monologue.
Yeah.
And then no. Actually, okay. Speaking of no way. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no way, and 10 being now and forever. Where would you rate the show personally?
Oh, I'm gonna go like an 8. It's very good. It's not very going to be my favorite musical, but I think it's like really solid show and really fun, and I will definitely like listen to it a lot and try to see it as much as I can.
I'm gonna rate it a 6.
Oh, I know. Wow, that was really right there, wasn't it?
That was simply too
I
obvious.
just took it too seriously.
That's my drag name, simply too obvious. But no, I would say probably an 8 as well. I think similar to Mamma Mia, this is a show that knows exactly what it is and is very intelligent about doing
Mamma
it.
Mia's really good. I watched the movie recently in quarantine, and I was like, oh, this is really good. Because again, yeah, it's just fun, and it knows what it is.
And does all the work for you.
Yeah.
That's what, like, if you're going to be that kind of amount of fluff, don't ask me to...
I don't always want to go to the theater and come out like doubled over crying.
No, I love fluff, but
Sometimes you want to go have fun.
I need my fun to like still be well done.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
It's be good.
Yeah, don't feed me like...
Well, because I don't like heartless, like dumb, like so many musicals now are like.
Don't give me a bowl of almond milk and tell me it's whipped cream. Like I need you to actually whip the cream for me.
Yeah.
And I think
it needs to be good. Yeah, well done, fun.
Mamma Mia and 6 whip the cream.
Yes.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's my new phrase for that. They whip the cream. They don't just hand you a bowl of milk.
Yeah.
Next question. I dreamed a dream cast. Who would you like to see in this show?
Wow. Okay. Well, Jessie J.
Yeah.
Would love to see Jessie J in this show, and we know she's a musical theater girl.
Mm-hmm. All of our pop princesses.
Yeah. A lot of my like close and personal friends who are really good singers, I would like to see in it.
Name them, girl.
Caitlin Doak. She should be in there. She would be an incredible Jane. Oh, actually, this is like. She really looks like the actress playing her now. Ooh. Caitlin, you need to go in for this. Mm-hmm. She actually probably has. I think she's sung songs from the show before. But yeah, no, I hope she gets in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessie J and Caitlin Doak.
Would we do Jessie J and Waitress? Would we see that? Would we like that?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know if she can act.
I mean, I don't know. She acted in the shadows for so long, acting like she was just a ghostwriter, and then she popped down and went, I'm here.
I want to hear her sing Waitress.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I would buy a ticket. I would buy a ticket to anything she was in regardless.
Sure. Jessie J in An American in Paris.
Yes.
Last question. Rainbow High Spectacle. Does this show need production value to work?
No, but it is part of what is so fun about it.
Sure.
Like the full like pop concert of it.
Yes.
But I could see it like if I saw this at Fringe in a basement.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. I would say if you're not going to have any kind of production value, keep everything very tight. Tight choreo, tight vocals.
Well, like I wouldn't mind. Like I guess if it was like even if it was like a guerrilla production,
Yeah.
I would want them to know that they were doing the best they could with what they had to achieve the vibe of like, we're at a pop concert.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
totally
as long as
agree.
the band is still on stage and they have the handheld microphones and they're like, they put together their own fiercest outfits.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah. It's not a spectacle itself. It's just, you need to take the audience
I will say,
away.
like, you need, and like, obviously, it does need to be a vocal spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they all do have to be like crazy singers.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that element you couldn't take away,
No.
which feels, I mean, obviously, but like I'm not gonna be in this show because I'm
No.
not like a crazy river belter person. But I'm at peace with that because it's like, this show is not for me to be in.
No. I was thinking to myself, even though none of these women are pop women, I'm just thinking like musical theater actresses in their youth who I would like to see in this show. So I was like, I would love to see a young Judy Kuhn sing Heart of Stone.
Oh,
Kuhn.
yeah.
But I mean, my listeners are tired of hearing me talk about Kuhnsy. Young Patti LuPone, like Evita era, I would like to hear her do Catherine Howard. A young Melba Moore, she would be my Catherine of Aragon.
I mean, that would definitely be very funny. That actually does make me start to think, though, about this show's staying power, because it is so modern and it is so like now, like a lot of the musical references. So I do wonder where, like, is it gonna have the legacy of some classic musical theater shows in terms of like just the music is so
Sure.
period specific to now.
Yeah. I think it could. I think it may not feel as what's the word I'm looking for? It may not feel as vibrant 20 years from now, but I think it's going to be such a time capsule of sound that it'll still have at least a nostalgia factor to it, and the
Yeah.
energy is so infectious that'll carry over. Katie, this has been lovely.
It's been so lovely.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you if you want them to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those at Katie Jo Yo Faux Show. Katie Jo Yo was my original AIM screen name, but that was taken, so I added on the Faux Show when I joined Instagram in 2013. And that has stayed, so that's my handle.
Congrats.
And yeah, you can find me there. I would plug some shows, but this is gonna come out in November, and I don't know where I'll be or what I'll be doing. So just follow me on Instagram, and I'll tell you where I am.
Looking forward.
Yeah.
If you want to follow me, guys, just Instagram at Matt Koplik, usual spelling. If you like the podcast, rate, review, subscribe, give us a nice 5-star rating. You can write a little review. If you don't like the podcast, if you hate my voice and everything I have to say, you can write a review telling me so. Just make sure it's 5 stars. Algorithm is so real. We're going to be taking a little hiatus, about a month break, before we go into the next series. Now, we are recording this in the first week of October, and I don't know for sure what the next series is going to be, so I'm going to have future Matt take over for a brief minute to inform the listeners what the next series is. Take it away, future Matt.
Really, I beg to differ with you.
How do you mean?
You're the top.
Yeah?
You're an arrow collar. You're the top. You're a Coolidge dollar.
Hey everybody. So, in January, we will be starting a new miniseries called The Tesori Hour. That's right, we are doing all 5 Broadway musicals of one Janine Tesori. Somewhere in the middle of January, we will be jamming out with Janine. It'll be a wonderful time. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know I will. We'll be covering Thoroughly Modern Millie, Caroline or Change, Shrek, Violet, then Fun Home. There will be another miniseries after that one. I do have the theme. I don't have the title, so you'll hear the exact title of that somewhere in the middle of The Tesori Hour. By the way, something that past Matt forgot to do because he is a sexy little dum-dum is he forgot to rank the works of this series at the end of this episode. So I'm going to do it for him. On the straight play front, at number 6, we have Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. At number 5, we have Warhorse. Number 4, Equus. Number 3, The History Boys. Number 2, Noises Off. Number 1, The Pillow Man. All of these are really wonderful plays
History Boys gets me in the feels. Noises Off might be the best comedy of the last 100 years. The Pillowman is just brilliant, one of the best plays of this century. If you aren't familiar with it, get into it. Get into all of Martin McDonagh. Next up are musicals. I will be going, I guess in ascending order again. Fun, right? So, how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 here. That's right. Yes, we got 12. At number 12, we have Blood Brothers. There are some worthy things about it, but overall, it's honestly is just a bit of a mess for me. Act 1 in particular is just real rough stuff. Number 11, Sunset Boulevard. Sorry Gays. Brilliant movie, kind of bad show. Number 10 is Cats. Say what you will, some of that music slaps, and that original production is still one of the greatest spectacles I've ever seen. Number 9 is Oliver. It's perfectly fine. The movie's just a lot better. Number 8, Billy Elliot. Really strong book and a decent score. I would like to see another production at some point so I can properly judge. Until then, it's a really solid 8. Number 7 is Phantom of the Opera. I have issues with the show, but damn if it doesn't work, and that Broadway production is still pretty spectacular. Number 6 is 6. I did not plan that. That was just a happy coincidence. Number 5 is Mamma Mia. I think it's a little more eternal than 6 will be, but hey, that's me predicting the future, and I've been wrong almost every time. Number 4 is Evita, Beltathon, thrilling theatricality. Can't really say it's a good musical. It's not necessarily well structured, and the show has no interest in any of the nuance of Ava Perón as a human being, just her, Joan Collins in Dynasty fabulosity. Number 3 is Me and My Girl. It is so much fun. Really, guys, look into it. Number 2 is Matilda, one of the smartest, most creative musicals of this century. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. My House and Quiet are 2 of the greatest songs written for musicals of the last 10 years. And number 1 is Les Miserables. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, always, I will stick up for that show. Not that it needs my help, but I always will. And that's it. Thank you for listening to this list, guys, for my own personal views. This is not by any means law or fact. I mean, a little bit, because as we all know, I've got perfect taste. But other than that, listen and then disagree and tell me. All right, back to Past Matt. Bye.
Thanks, Future Matt. You sound really hot today. I hope you feel good about yourself. Your bicep curls are really working. Katie, we close out every episode with a Broadway diva. Usually one that's connected to the show we're talking about, but unfortunately, none of the women on the Broadway cast of 6 are recorded with the show. And I'm trying to think, well, I guess Adriana Hicks is with Color Purple, but she doesn't really have much of a solo. I'm also looking... let me look through who we've closed out with. Are there any divas in particular, Katie, that you love? Any Broadway divas?
I mean, I love to do a Bernie impression. I love to do an Alice Ripley impression. I love to do a Patti LuPone impression.
But if I was like, we've done every diva except them.
Yeah.
After 120 something episodes, we've done all of them, but Patti and Bernie and Rip.
I know, but I love them all.
How can you not? Who have I not had?
So wait, are we singing or are you going to play a clip?
I'm going to play a clip in post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was ready to whip out my impressions.
I mean, you can whip out your impression if you want.
No, it's okay.
Should my system crash or something? Let's see. I'm going to say... I don't know, who else?
Ariana Grande was in 13.
Yes, she was.
And she's obviously very clearly referenced in 6.
She is very much so.
And she's done a lot of covers.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Because 6 reference, and also the whole show is structured off of her concert. And she did do a musical.
Famously, Dreamgirls.
Yes. Miss Bay Wants Cannolis. Otherwise known as Beyonce Knowles.
Miss Beyonce Knowles Carter.
Yes, we'll have her do Dreamgirls. That is actually
Wow.
a drag queen name that I really want to do. Bae wants cannolis, but it's literally spelled Beyonce Knowles.
Right. Oh my gosh. That is very silly.
I'm fun to be around, Katie Jo.
Yes.
The joke is that this whole episode's gonna just get deleted, and you're just gonna be my friend. It's all been a
It's a
gaslighting experience.
ruse. I love it.
Girl boss gaslighting into you being on here, and now you're just my friend. Okay, so thank you so much for listening, guys. Thank you for dealing with all of our silliness. I had a great time. I hope you all did too. Check us back in the new year. Have a great I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great December holidays and a lovely New
We're
Year's.
manifesting it from the past.
Yes, we
for
are.
You to have a lovely holiday season.
Absolutely. And yeah, we can't wait to see you in 2022. January is going to be lit. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And
Yay.
we'll see you in a month. Take us away, Yonsei. Woo!